Hello, everybody. Monday, the 20th of July. 3 TTMs today. We're not going to waste any time. First one, Orlando, Florida. Mr. Davey Johnson. Sent this to Mr. Johnson with $5, and I'm just realizing I didn't turn my overhead light on. Hopefully this video turns out okay. Sent this out with $5. Mr. Johnson, Davey. Some people call him Dave. Some people call him Davey. I call him Davey. That's what I'm familiar with. But played 13 years. Orioles, Braves, and Phillies and Cubs a little bit. 4 All-Star games. 2 Gold Gloves. And was on 2 World Series teams. And actually his rookie year in '66... he, in the World Series, got the last hit ever off Sandy Koufax. Here's Davey talking a little bit about that.
1966, and we'll cover other aspects of your career, of course, but 66, that World Series, you were the last guy to get a hit off Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, that was a great moment. First time I faced him, I said, this guy can't be that tough. Just a little left-hander. And I thought the ball was going to bounce low and away, and it rose up on the corner on the black, 2 of them about 98 miles an hour. I said, I was lucky 2 pitches. And he threw me a curveball, and I went like that and hit it to the pitcher. He caught it. But in the 7th inning, he threw me a fastball up, and I Tommy hawked it in the right field, got to first, and they took him out. The next spring, I went up to him in Vero, where Dodgers trained. We're playing him again. Walked up to Sandy and said, hey, Sandy, great to see you, man. Guess who got the last throw off you? And he looked me right in the eye and he said, I knew I was washed up when you got that hit. Crushed me.
How about that?
But he's a good man.
All right.
Yeah, and obviously I know him best from having managed the '86 Mets, which was sort of the series that made me a baseball fan. I've talked about that before. And in my Billy Buck tribute video, I'll go ahead and link that right there. I just give some details on how that game made me a baseball fan. He was the manager of that game. He managed 17 years. Mets, Reds, Orioles, Dodgers, and Nationals, rather. And one interesting thing of note, he was in the hole, not on deck, but the batter after that, when Hank Aaron broke Ruth's record. And then a year later, he was playing in Japan and was in the lineup when Sadaharu Oh, the all-time Japanese home run king, hit more than Ruth, hit 715 for himself. So he's witnessed a career 715th home run from the bench twice in consecutive years. So I think he had said in that interview that I showed a clip from just now that he was a good luck charm or something like that. But really happy to get that for the Action Pack set. Here's my updated totals on that 92 Action Pack ASG, which does not stand for All-Star Game, stands for All-Star Gallery. Anyway, there's the totals on that set. And I got a few more guys I could get. Other than that, I'm looking at probably buying stuff. But here we go. Phoenix, Arizona, to the P.O. Box. That tells me this is a fairly new send-out. And it is Mr. Vinny Del Negro. Turned out pretty good. He personalized it here. And I knew I was going to run into an issue with perhaps losing some of the signature, which is always a trick with basketball. And I did a little bit, but I'm still pretty happy with it. I'm sure Brandon's eyes are drawn up here, noticing this is a blazer with a headband, mid-90s. Gotta be Clifford Robinson. Like I said, happy to get that. Vinny Del Negro played 12 years, Spurs, Kings, Bucks, Suns, and Warriors. He played 2 years in Italy. I looked up his stats, and I'm not really great at reading basketball stats. But I did notice in the mid-90s, he had a couple years where he averaged in the low teens in points per game. And that's pretty good. A lot better than me. And did find a couple highlights here. The first 2 are my favorite. One is like a full court assist jobby to David Robinson. And then the second clip, I think, is like a coast-to-coast thing, which is just awesome. So check it out. Yeah, and after his playing days, I know he did some head coaching. I think with the Bulls. I'm not really sure, but I didn't really look that up, and that was during the time when I wasn't following basketball at all. I am looking at getting back into following basketball really close, but I need to pick a team, and that's what's been keeping me on the sidelines of doing that all these years, is because my team was taken away, and I was really kind of angry for a couple years, and now I've missed a lot of real great basketball, and at some point I realized I'm only hurting myself. So I need to play around and figure out kind of who I want to root for. I have some teams in mind, and the Spurs is one of them, actually. Have some teams in mind, and I might actually make a video and kind of get your feedback on what makes sense for me, because like I know who I don't want, but of the teams that I sort of like, I need some feedback on, like, I don't want to pick someone that is like really good right now. I want to like sort of suffer a little bit. I feel like you should as a sports fan, and as a Seattle area sports fan, I'm used to suffering. Anyway, number 3, this one's not canceled. So when I opened it, it was total mystery. When I did get around to opening it, I was very happy to learn Mr. Larry Nance on 1 and 2. I like this one. That's really cool. The Scoops subset from 93 or 94 hoops. This same set right here. And Larry Nance's son plays for somebody, the Cavs maybe, I think. And he was actually the very first winner of the dunk contest. And I'm pretty sure that this is taken from that, because if you look at the way he's holding the ball, and check out this dunk. I think this was the clinching dunk in '84 that allowed him to beat Dr. J. And if you watch the dunk and kind of observe this photo, it looks like it was probably taken from that. Check it out. And if it wasn't, still obviously he's going to dunk the ball there. Same uniform, kind of the same pose, but really happy to get Larry Nance Sr. And I think I could probably spare this hoops. I do like this because it's a cool all-star card. And he was an all-star 3 times. He played 7 years for the Suns and 7 years for the Cavs. And we'll put this hoops card back here in the giveaway stack. We're only, let's see, today's the 20th. So we're less than a week from our giveaway. About exactly a week we'll be doing the drawing. So tune in for that next Monday morning. And be sure to get in on that. There will be a special video just for that if you're new to this. Other than that, 3 returns today. Very cool. Davey Johnson. I call him Davey. We're friends. I can do that. Vinny Del Negro, personalized to me, and the very first slam dunk champion. Pretty awesome. Hope you're having a great Monday and staying cool, because why would you change now?